Welcome to another edition of the Dementia Care Partner Talk Show. Now, here's dementia care expert Teepa and your host, Greg Phelps.
Welcome to the Dementia Care Partner Podcast, sponsored by Positive Approach to Care certification programs. Would you like to be trained in Teepa Snow's methods and help your community? PAC certification programs can do just that. Train, coach, consult, and engage to help change the culture of dementia care one mind at a time. Certification events are run virtually or in person to help fit your likes, wants, and needs. This month, we're offering the Amanda Mosher Scholarship to celebrate one of our certified community members. To learn more about the courses and the scholarship, please visit teepasnow.com/certifications. And Teepa, our topic for today is one that we have had frequent requests for, which means we're obviously reaching new people and things, which is good. And that is the family doctor says, "Hey, Teepa, congratulations. I know what's wrong with you. You've got dementia. See you later." Is that how it goes sometimes?
Yeah, except it's usually more like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm the bearer of bad news, but you have dementia." And, frankly, there's very little we can do about it. So I'm going to make a couple of recommendations. If you haven't got your healthcare power of attorney and your living will and those kind of things taken care of, you really should get your affairs in order because, this is progressive and it eventually will result in your death. And the other thing, we can try some meds. They're probably not going to do a lot for you, but you could give it a try. Sometimes it does. But truly, there's not anything much I can do. You're probably going to come back when you have some issues in how things are going, but let me know then and we can add some meds. How's your stress level?
Yeah, probably off the charts. So in order to get me out of your office, you might also try the famous, we're going to refer you to...
Well, it's actually pretty rare that actually even happens, Greg, which is really sad because they don't even follow it up with, when we offer this kind of information, it's really a good idea to give you someone to spend some time getting support and talking with, because this is a major shift. So it's really, unfortunately, our friends who are living with dementia say, we just asked this at one of our recent Let's Talk sessions that I run once a month for people living with dementia. And out of the 27 people who were there, 23 said that had been their experience.
Ooh.
Exactly what I said. They said, yeah, we got nothing. And they kept talking, and I know they were saying something, but I wasn't listening anymore. As soon as I heard, it was dementia, I think I shut down. I really couldn't do anything more, but I know they kept talking. I was just devastated. And that's what those people said. And they said they got nothing. They got nothing. And, there were a few people who said, I had a really good doc and it was really different.
So I'm not good at ciphering, but I think that was 92% got nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's brutal.
Yeah. And those were sometimes people who had young onset. So these were people who were working people who were going to have to quit their job or had lost their job, or it was affecting their relationship with their spouse or with their, young adult kids. And they were trying to figure out what the heck was going on. And it's just sort of like, oh, here you go. Yep, that's what it is. And we think it's probably, and sometimes there wasn't even, from the work that we've done so far, it looks like it probably might be a Lewy body dementia or an Alzheimer's or a frontal temporal. Or vascular. It was just, you have dementia. And, I don't even know that it matters what kind. They're all progressive. And so it wasn't even, you probably got vascular. It sounds like you probably have vascular, because you had those, you had that heart condition, you had some strokes. So, that's our best guess about it. It's just like, but it doesn't really matter. It's like, so I have cancer and it doesn't matter what kind. I'm being facetious, obviously, because it's like,
I get it entirely. Being virtually thrown to the wolves.
I know. And it's like, how dare we, when number one, there are things that could and should be done. And even how it's said, that should never be said that way. I'm sorry. That's just poor practice in my mind. That's not how you bring up a topic.
I'm going to steer the conversation in a slightly different direction because, as I said, we've done a few podcasts on this. What about the people who are going to be suddenly thrust into the role as a care partner? Can we have some suggestions on, you're sitting with mom, you're sitting with dad, they've got the diagnosis. Now all of a sudden you've just had an sugar plum moment.
Yeah. And I would say, oh shit, no, I was so hoping that wasn't it. So there's either a freight train that just hits you, or
you may have had an inkling because things
you may have had an inkling.
Right.
It was a rocky road. So you're like, oh, that's what I was afraid of. I was so hoping it wasn't, but I sort of knew it was. So you either got the freight train or you've been on the road for a while. And so you're like, oh, that's what I thought. Oh, man. Either way, it just hits you too that your life is going to be different from now on, or somebody's life is, and you may be in a panic state too, because it's like, oh my Lord, if she has dementia, we've got the house, we've got the grandkid. Oh Lord, how are we going to do this? Because because the person has been part of a structure or not part of a structure. And all of a sudden we think, oh, everything's got to change. And it's like, pause, time out. Because what we want to do is, okay, so we've got a new player. And the new player is this thing called dementia. The good news is we caught it really, really fairly early. And so now's a great time we can come together and we can start working some things out.
You mean a plan?
Oh, let's put a team together and let's put a plan together. How about, instead of, oh yeah, this is really bad and there's nothing you can do. It's like, well, that's stupid.
So who could be on the team?
Yeah. So, I would certainly say the person living with dementia, the person who's looking at maybe being the primary support. And then I want to start looking around. Who is really good at dealing with healthcare systems? Who's really good at financial stuff? Who might be really good at environmental mod or environmental support stuff? Oh, who's really good at filling a day in such a way as people really could enjoy being with one another and feel comfortable? Who's great at managing schedules? And who's good at negotiating relationship? Oh, wait, I think we may need a manager here. This is getting complicated. So I would say, who do you have in your life that can actually be the coach of the team? And who's going to be, the cheerleader in the team? Who are your star players? And what's the goal here? Who's going to help, with the goals? And so it's really starting to recognize, man, we've got a lot of work to do here to have this work. Honestly.
And this usually falls on somebody, but then I'm going to throw this other term out there that you've no doubt heard: sandwich generation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so it's not uncommon. It might be the spouse if they're trying to avoid involving the kids and the anxiety about, we don't want to be a burden. And so sometimes it's a solo spouse who's trying to do all this, which is scary, because that's, having the spouse say, the medical provider say, all right, we need to bring a team together. So let's figure out how we're going to, you want your kids involved, or are we going to find some other people that you want to provide some support and work with you instead? I'll give you an either or, but walking away from here with just the two of you, no. So then the sandwich group turns out to be the kids, grown children who are anywhere from in their, let's say, late 20s through their 60s or early 70s or mid 70s, because we're talking about older adults developing dementia. Sometimes they're still around, and people in their 80s, late 80s and early 90s, and the kids are in their 70s, early 80s. And then we have the grandkids and the great grands. And so that group somewhere in the middle is feeling the pressure of caring for grandchildren, caring for grandparents, and being squished in the middle. Or children caring for parents and caring for kids. Young onset.
At what point, Teepa, do we start considering long-term placement? Should we throw that in the mix somewhere? Because it's got to be dealt with.
We do. We want to throw in, okay, so what are our resources? What are our fiscal resources? What are our environmental resources? What are our care resources? And care resources could be in another location or in this location with more people or in an alternate location. And so this idea of what are some options of where somebody can live? Where can somebody house themselves? Apartments, senior apartments, multiple generation apartments, a neighborhood that is built for this kind of thing. Could it be in a CCRC? I mean, do you have those kind of resources? Could it be in an assisted living with a special secured area? Could it be a small home where we have like just a few people living? Could it be a family choosing to come back together and be together? I mean, all those are possibilities, or I may choose a different family entirely. We do have made families versus the ones you came into the world with, because it's a better matchup for dementia and for life and for living and location. And so the Netherlands is a great example of where often they're taking college kids or young adults who want a place to live and are able and willing to give some support to seniors. And we match them up and we figure out, because bike riding is very popular, we get a bike that's a dual bike. And so they can go places and do things, but they can pursue their own studies and they can have things that they're doing in addition to providing support and care in shifts. And offering something back, and it becomes a mutually supportive environment versus we're just going to do this traditional thing of caring for someone instead of engaging someone in living. So
we've given people lots of information in a short period of time.
Yeah.
If somebody really needs to talk to somebody, how can I do that? I mean, you're usually on the road. Have you got a team that backs you up?
Yeah. And so we have consultants. We have people who are trained to, take in a lot of information from someone, help them look around that information and figure out what's the first couple of options you have and where do you want to move forward and how do you do that? And so it's a free consult, and it's teepasnow.com/consultations or consult at teepasnow.com is what it is, Teepa. And the other thing I would say is we've done a couple of videos. So there is some online stuff, looking for the right service at the right place at the right time, learning about what options are out there. So you explore them before you need them. If you're more of a watch a video kind of person and then have a consult or talk to somebody.
Teepa, thank you very much.
Thanks, Greg.
You've been listening to the Dementia Care Partner podcast, sponsored by Positive Approach to Care certification programs and the Amanda Mosier Scholarship. If you'd like to become a sponsor for this podcast and other free programs that Teepa and her team provide each month, please visit teepasnow.com/sponsor.
Hi, I'm Teepa Snow, and you just found our YouTube channel and watched one of our videos. I'm the owner and founder of Positive Approach to Care. Thanks for watching. And if you have a comment about, or you would, please share it with people you know. Oh, and if you haven't yet done it, consider subscribing. We'll let you know when the next new video comes out. And you might want to visit our website, www.teepasnow.com, where you'll find other resources as well. See you there.